All right, let's take a trip back to memory lane. It was, I think, a few years ago, 4 years ago, on the Super Bowl. This was the New England Patriots against Atlanta Falcons. I believe the Falcons were leading like 4 touchdowns, like 28-3. Now, it was about halftime, and if you were a betting man, you would say like the Falcons are going to blow out the Patriots, 28-3. You do not come back in a Super Bowl down by 4 touchdowns. And so I'm sure all the Falcons fans were happy and rejoicing and celebrating. And what happened? Tom Brady comes back, scores a bunch of touchdowns, and goes to overtime. And the Patriots win their Super Bowl ring with Bill Belichick. And what's the lesson here? If you were the Falcons, they probably made a mistake in boasting about what was going to happen. They thought for sure what was going to happen. And in the end, it came to bite them. And so the moral of that story, right, is that you really don't know anything that's going to happen, especially in 2020. Who would have said? A lot of people were like, COVID's going to end in, probably 2 or 3 months. Well, it's still here and it's still scary. And which brings us to a segue about boasting about tomorrow. Just as the Falcons thought they were going to win, just as we thought COVID was going to be over, we really don't know the future. Only God does. Here's James 4:13-17. Come now, you who say, today or tomorrow we will go into such and such a town, spend a year there, and trade and make a profit. Yet you do not know what tomorrow will bring. What is your life? For you are a mist that appears for a little time and then vanishes. Instead, you ought to say, if the Lord wills, we will live and do this or that. As it is, you boast in your arrogance. All such boasting is evil. So whoever knows the right thing to do and fails to do it, for him it is sin. Now, some strong words there, right? Being sure of what you think is going to happen is sometimes a good thing, but sometimes also a bad thing. Just as the people in the stock market and the business world don't always know what the trends are going to happen. We too don't know. It says we're a mist. We're just here for just a little bit. We're just here for a few brief moments, and then that's it. We're gone off into eternity. And so for us, just think about, what are the things that you were or are so certain of? Maybe you're so certain. Maybe some of us were so certain of our jobs or what was going to happen this year. I know for maybe some seniors, they were so certain that they were going to graduate live or whatever. But things, are never exactly the way that we think it will happen. And so I think what James is trying to teach us here is that, yes, live day by day, but also the thing is, if the Lord wills, we will live and do this or that. Just don't be so confident in our own abilities. Don't be so confident in what we project to be the future, because we're all planners. We make plans for the future, and we think, I don't know, the market will look like this, or homes will look like this, or futures will look like this. But all of it, could go away. God could just take anything away, from our lives to health to families to relationships to money. So just to say any of our security founded not on God, not in the confidence of God, really is futile. And so, you boast in your arrogance. What do you boast of? Maybe you boast of things you're so certain of. But it says it's evil. And as any of us know, that is pride in its purest form. And then the final thing that it talks about is that, sometimes we know what the right thing to do and we fail to do it. That's sin. That's a sin of omission, right? We know sometimes we ought to love our neighbors. We know we ought to not be prideful. We not be selfish or self-centered, but we do it anyway. And so just a good reminder for us, as James has been talking about in this last few chapters, about acting out your faith, not just knowing it, but by actively living it, not passively just holding it back in all these things, right? So not boasting about what we think our lives will look like. And also, if we know what we should do, then, actively live on it. And so as we close today, this great section from James, and as we think about, just our futures, I pray and hopefully all of us can kind of just think about, leaving it in God's hands, not trying to be so certain in our own timing or in our own thoughts or our plans, because those are futile. It's just like a mist. It could end at any time. So that's a little bit of thought for you today. Sorry if you are Falcons fans to disappoint you, but you can never be certain. So go out, enjoy the day. Don't boast about tomorrow. Thanks.